Is just in the nick of time.
Bringing his Red Bull.
No, I don't.
Liquid death.
I don't use Red Bull.
Being 7 o'clock, we'll call to order this meeting of Public Safety and Human Services for November 28th, 2023, held in the Jeannie Seelig Room at City Hall. Attending tonight, we have the full quorum, myself, Alders Strassman, and Alder Allen. Public appearances for non-agenda items. I don't believe we have any for non-agenda, am I correct?
You are correct.
All right. Then move to the consent agenda. On our consent agenda, we have approval of minutes and approval of routine licenses. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So
moved by Strassman. Any questions on this? Minutes, any changes, corrections? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor of approval of the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The consent agenda is approved. Give me a second here. Okay. Next we have on here, agenda item 4 alpha, which is approval of resolution and or ordinance, resolution R 224-23, acceptance of COPS grant. And we have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Alan. Matt, would you like to
Absolutely.
provide a narrative here?
Sure. On November 2nd, the department was awarded by the U.S. Department of Justice COPS Office a grant in the amount of $625,000 to assist the city in funding 5 new police officers for a period of 3 years. The reason for this referral is simply for the council to approve the acceptance of the money. It's not tied to any financial responsibilities on our part at this point. There are stipulations and conditions within the grant that allows us to extend the grant period if necessary, or to even decline the money if our financial situation changes. And as a part of the memo, this is there's going to be an additional budget amendment request probably coming in and around the time frame of a potential referendum that would supplement the costs of those 5 new officers in 2024, and then the bulk of 2025 would be supported by the grant. And these 5 officers are brand new police officers. Once the 5 would be trained or hired and trained, once they do come onto the police department, we would then have 5 officers. It doesn't have to be these particular 5 officers that we would hire, but it would then open up the spots for 5 officers to be assigned to neighborhood officer positions. That would fall in line with our, most likely our Healthy Neighborhoods initiative, as well as a potential public outreach officer standalone position. And we'd have to report to the COPS office once this is all, if this does come to fruition, we'd have to report the financial side of it to ensure that we're detailing all the financial aspects of the 5 officers, as well as the programming side of it, which is the neighborhood officers and the responsibilities that they will have as part of this grant.
Questions for me?
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, so I had a long conversation with Chad about this. And one of the things that I think we need to make clear to everybody watching this is that if the referendum doesn't pass, we are not going to go ahead with this because there won't be any money.
That's correct.
So this is fully dependent on the referendum. I remember when we got the last COPS grant, because I was on the council then.
Back in 1996?
Yeah, and that was 3 years. I believe they were completely paid for. I don't think it was this weird division.
Sure.
I think it was 100% funding for 3 years, and then we're on our own.
Right.
But if we didn't retain them, we would have to pay the money back.
Correct.
So, I guess the biggest question I have for you, which Chad didn't know the answer to, is since we already have 6 vacancies that seem to be taking forever to fill.
Sure.
Are we gonna be able to fill these spots, even if we authorize this and
Sure,
go ahead?
so one of the things is it does not have to bring us up to our authorized staffing at that point. So the next 5 after this gets approved.
Right, I understand we would fill these 5 first.
And
because-
the COPS office, and I've been speaking with the grant coordinator for the city of Madison, and they've recently gone through the COPS hiring grant. As long as you can show the COPS office that you are doing your due diligence they're completely sympathetic to the fact that law enforcement in general is suffering a lot of recruitment and retention issues. As long as you can show good faith efforts to keep staff being hired on, you can get a lot of extensions to the program. So there are ways that we can work around it. We just have to be in constant communication with the COPS office.
All right, I know at the beginning of this year, I think we had 11 vacancies.
Correct.
Yeah, so we're down to 6 now, so there's progress.
Right, and we'll actually be down to 5 starting December 11th. We're
Oh,
bringing
great.
another hire on.
So, has there been any more discussion in the department about where to find new people and what we as a council can do to help this process?
Well, I mean, there's, like I've said before many times, Jay, this is a multifaceted
I know it is.
concern, not only for our department, but so many other departments across.
Yeah, I don't care about them, I just wanna know about ours.
Well, I mean, I know the facility is going to be a really good tool to hopefully recruit and retain the officers we have. That's a starting point. Not to mention, I mean, I know contract negotiations most likely start middle of the year next year. That's gonna be an element to it. And just, I guess, emphasizing public support for the police department in general. Not public safety, not the fire, the police department. One of the biggest recruitment tools for new officers, officers who already know that this profession is so heavily scrutinized, is the elected officials, community organizations, openly saying in public consistently that they support the police department. Because why come to a city where it's already so competitive? Why go to the city where they're second guessing everything that the police department does and questioning everything that they do? I would go to the community that is showing that level of support. So.
Do the facts bear that out? Because there's no way in hell I'd go work for Madison, with people on the board and.
City of Madison.
We lose
City of
officers to
Madison
Madison, so is this true? It's hard.
We're not really losing to the city of Madison
Okay,
anymore.
it's county,
It's
okay.
the county.
All right.
And they're showing their support for their police officers through monetary and so.
So we have 5 openings now, and so this money would help pay for those positions to hire those.
After the grant, after the referendum, because it's gonna be tied to the referendum, after that's approved, the next 5 police officers after that point would be these 5 cops, police officers.
We have 55
55
sworn officers.
Yep.
So does this, by approving this, are we
Our authorized
increasing the
staff will
number?
go up to 60.
All right.
Yep.
So we will then have 10 vacancies, theoretically.
Theoretically, unless we hopefully hire some more
Right.
between now and then.
And, I'm for this, and don't take this the wrong way, but I was a little concerned about the timing of the press conference when council hasn't approved, when it came to us, we were excited, we said, we'd like to see the financials, and then you have the press conference, and I just, it gives me the timing of that, you don't have to strong arm me or anyone else, and I felt that's what you were, that wasn't your intention, but that's what it felt like, like, oh, we're gonna do this in council. I have to approve it because we got it out to all the people, and
Well, it's a pretty monumental,
I realize that, but I could have waited, another week, is what I thought. I'm still for it, so, but, that struck me. I mean, Any other questions on this? All right, thank you for coming. Jay, you mentioned the previous COPS grant. I believe that might have been when Ned was hired?
No.
No. When that expired, when that expired, you got laid off, was that?
Close there,
Close,
yeah.
okay.
No, we had a beat patrol grant, 2017, that we hired 2 police officers with.
Okay,
And that's state funding
okay,
for this grant.
sounds good, thank you. Now call the vote, all in favor of resolution R 224-23, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we have agenda item 5, operator license needing special attention. We have Noah here. You wanna come on?
Sure. Do I have to stand or can I just sit
Oh,
at
have
the
a
table?
seat. Have a
No, we're
seat.
gonna make you stand.
Have a seat.
Good evening.
So, special attention for approval, so I think you're aware, the police reviewed this and you had some concerns, and so then we asked you to come here and address them. One of them was underage drinking, which I wasn't concerned about, but there was an assault, I believe.
Yeah, that was just recently.
Can you explain that to, because we're in charge of public safety, and I'd
Yeah.
like to hear
Dave,
Hear it
do
from
you
the
want to
person.
make a motion to approve?
Okay,
and start
do we have a
discussion?
motion to approve the operator
So
license
moved.
for North?
Now we
Moved
can
by
start
Jay,
discussion.
okay. All right, go ahead, Noah.
So we moved, I like to say like a year abroad, we moved to Missouri. So I'm gay, I have a husband, and the atmosphere in Missouri was a little bit more rough than Wisconsin, not as accepting. So we had some issues with him keeping employment for remarks. He's more sensitive and I'm not, I don't care what people think, but probably around the 7th job it got to me and I went there to make like a formal customer complaint. Now, after going there, what I said probably wasn't correct because it did heat the conversation, but it was an African-American male. And I just said, you probably feel discrimination just like us. I don't know why you're putting out that discrimination. There was threats of finding my address from Austin's employee file. So I got on my phone, did a Google search. I can find your address too, which was wrong, but I did it. And so it heated from there. He put his feet on top of my feet and he didn't put his hands around my throat to choke me, but he kind of grabbed me by the throat, if that makes sense. So at that point I was kind of in my fight or flight mode and I swung at him.
All right, that's,
So
thank you.
it's kind of like a self-defense.
Yeah, kind of, but I'm still fighting it in court.
Okay, I'm not, this does not give me any concern for this. What I would ask, thank you for sharing it with us.
You bet.
I know that's not easy. What I would ask, you live in Edgerton?
Yeah.
You could drive all the way up here for this job?
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
that far. I used to drive, so do you know where Reedsburg is?
Absolutely.
We lived in Reedsburg before we moved to Missouri and we drove to Madison every day.
Okay, all right,
It sucks, but it's okay.
okay. All right, yeah, okay.
Well, some people like to drive too.
Yeah.
I'm not one of them, but.
No, okay. Jay or Shan, you have any issues?
Well, I had
I do.
a question about
Okay.
this underage alcohol violation, because clearly it must not have been you, or maybe it was you.
Oh, it was me. I can tell you that story too if you want.
Well, I just want to know when it happened, because the dates aren't on here. But you look
It's
substantially
over-
older than 21, so.
I don't know substantially, but older than 21, I would say.
It was October of 17, I think. I would have been barely 18. Yeah,
That's a long time.
So did that involve an OWI?
it did.
That
And
is,
then I got it.
so that was
removed.
one incident. So it's, the way it's on the application, it looks like it's 2 incidents, but I guess it's just.
Which I'm surprised it still showed up.
Oh, those don't.
Does it show up forever?
More or less, yeah, but,
Okay.
you know.
That's fair.
Background check. So did you have to go through the assessment and all that after
Yeah, it says he did that.
you successfully completed that stuff?
For which,
The OWI?
yes, yep, all that's been completed, and I think it's been dropped to an absolute sobriety, if that sounds correct.
Yeah, that's what it said on the information we had.
Thank you. Do you have any issues? I don't.
No, I'm ready to
We'll call the
roll.
vote. All in favor of approval of the operator license for Noah Johnson, signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed? The motion carries. Noah, you should be able to get your license. I don't know if Tracy will send that to you or can give that to you.
You'll get a notification through
Okay.
OpenGov tomorrow that your license has been approved, and you'll just be able to print it right off of OpenGov, so.
Perfect.
Any questions, just contact us and we can send you one.
Sounds good, thanks
by
guys.
the way, I want to
Thank
ask
you.
you this now,
Yeah.
because it wasn't really related, but what happened at the last meeting that you weren't here?
So my HR manager's email is hooked up to this, and to make it nice, she's just not the best at clerical work.
Oh.
So I had no idea until you guys called me,
I see.
yeah.
We kind of figured there was a miscommunication,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
That's all right.
Well, best wishes to you.
Thank you
Thank
guys,
you.
have a good night.
You too.
Our on the agenda item 6A, our next meeting is December 12th, 2023. This time I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Someone,
Moved by Alan, that was even fast for Jay. Any call in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 7:16.